you know, we're all, if we can all communicate to the one God, then my goodness, we should all be able to communicate to each other. And I don't think that, I think that we have to focus on what unites us, not what separates us. You know, it's like eating, we all have to eat, but some people are vegans, some people are vegetarians, some people will just eat fish, and you know, but at the end of the day we all have to eat, and that is very much what I think that we look too much at what the differences are, and we shouldn't, and I think the only way that we're going to be able to get groups like this together is by finding things that common threads and common strands. One of the things that has really brought the Muslim community into other communities has been the anti-war movement. And you can see one of the abiding memories that I have of the 2 Million March in London to try and stop the war from Iraq going ahead was a group of very pious-looking Muslim men who had very long beards, and they were wearing their long white robes, and they were marching down Piccadilly, and there were 2 or 3 young girls with punk hairstyles and sort of black makeup over their eyes and tiny little tartan mini skirts with black stockings that were ripped and laddered, and you know, they looked really scary, and probably they, you know, people would look at the Muslim men and think that they could be scary as well. And the group were marching together and talking and shouting against the war, but in between the chanting they were talking and exchanging pleasantries. And I just thought, you know, in a different situation, those 3 brothers would probably run the other way rather than talk to these punk rocker girls, and these punk rocker girls would probably cross the street rather than, you know, have anything to do with these men. But there they were, highly animated in talk and in a common theme. And I just think that this is what we've got to do, is not focus on our differences, focus on what pulls us together as humans. And as I said before, you know, we all talk to the same God, so it shouldn't really be that difficult.
Good.
You see this empty chair, it wasn't meant to be empty. We offered it to our friend, the leader of the Christian community, Mr. John Johnson. So lastly, I will ask him to respond to this meeting. Mr. John Johnson.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Yvonne Ridley, for coming and sharing. I really appreciated your honesty and your openness. And thank you, Barrister Chaudhry and Mohammed Qureshi, for organizing this event tonight. And I'd like to thank all of you for coming. I mean, gosh, there's loads of people here that I've never met before. Thank you very much for coming out. This, Norma, for your benefit primarily, let me explain briefly what these meetings are about. This meeting tonight is quite unusual. Normally, it's a much more smaller, intimate group of maybe 10 Muslim men, 10 Christian men meeting around a table in a restaurant. And so tonight's quite unique. But hence my hesitation for sitting up front. But anyway, just the objective of the meetings are to, as has been alluded to, is to build respect toward one another in our respective faiths, and build friendships. Some of these friendships have carried on even outside of the gatherings, meeting in one another's homes and so forth, to just learn about one another, listen to one another, so that barriers can be torn down and bridges built. As has been said, there is a lot in common. We do have, certainly as human beings, we all have family issues, we all have economic issues and so forth, and we have some religious things in common as well. But I'm sure you'd all agree we have some significant differences as well. For example, primarily centered around Jesus Christ, his identity. I mean, how we relate to God through him. Of course, Christians believing he's the Son of God, not in a physical sense, but in a spiritual sense, and how his sacrifice on the cross, through that, our sins are forgiven. So this is a significant difference. But irrespective of that, we still have a lot in common, and we could learn from one another and grow in our mutual respect and understanding. So that typically our meetings are about 20 people or so, as I say. And I think we're going to be meeting probably in the next few weeks to discuss what lies ahead in the future. But thank you again for all that came tonight, and thank you too very much for your presentation.
That's nice. Thank you very much.
With those concluding remarks by our friend Mr. Johnson, I'm most grateful to all of you for coming, joining us, contributing, and listening to our wonderful speaker tonight. As I said, the food is ready upstairs. We would like the ladies to go first, and also take Sister Yvonne Ridley. I know a lot of you want to talk to her, and so you go first, and then men will follow. So you can take the chief guest with you.